Welcome into our Countdown to First Serve interview series. Today I'm visiting with Meredith Fear, longtime coach at Harding University. So, Coach, I've started off with the same question for everybody. I know we're all excited about volleyball and getting started, but let's first go back to about March of 2020 and what in the world did you do during quarantine?
That was challenging for sure. We had to get creative. So our girls, we were all home, and I really just wanted something to, we were meeting the first couple times we got on Zoom, and I found these little online Zoom games that, you could play where they all went and got their favorite. Like, we introduced our animals to each other one day, or, something like that. And then I was like, okay, we did about 2 times of that. And I was like, we need something a little bit, maybe more substantial. And the summer of 2019, we had gone to the Dominican Republic on like a half foreign tour, half mission trip. That was really great. And when we were there, we were kind of getting to know each other. We were doing these different personality tests and things like that. And we kind of got into the Enneagram a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
And so we all took it. We all took the same test. We were talking about it a little bit, and we didn't dive too deep. And then it just happened that spring, so starting in January at my church, we were doing a class kind of using the Enneagram and digging into deeper of, who you are and all the things that go along with that. And then so I learned a little bit more from people who knew much more about it than I did. And so that sort of made a spark into me. And so that class stopped also during that. And I was like, well, why don't we just continue this with the team? And so we sort of went through each, number. It's Enneagram is like a 9 picture. So it's 9 different numbers. It's just a model. Obviously it's not 100% of who a person is, but it was actually very helpful for the team to get to know each other on a little bit different level. We talked about each number and having like different conflict styles, and some people clearly were like, oh yeah, like I'm that, I am that one 100%. I know it, no question. And then some girls, we went all the way through it and they're still kind of unsure, exactly which number they might be. But I think we discovered some stuff about each other, and I think it's been really beneficial for sure.
Does 8 mean you're like stubborn? I think my wife said that's what I was. She's been doing it too. So I'm going to pull that one soundbite of you where you said it's not a full representation of who you are.
That's right. You're a little bit of everything, and it's
okay. Yeah. But I know all about that. She's been telling me about that too. So now you've got the unique perspective of your husband being a coach as well, coaching with you. So was it a lot of volleyball talk at home, or did you try to kind of set that aside?
We joked that early on. We're talking to our family and talking to our friends, and a lot of people were having to adjust to having to spend so much more time with their spouse. And we were just like, hey, I really think we've got a leg up here, because that it was really no different for us in the amount of time that we were spending together, because we spend a lot of time together. We were able to, another thing we did over the summer with Robert and our GA at the time, Jasmine Johnson, is we kind of went into old film, and then from the previous year, and we Zoomed each other, and I broke down the film like I would, and, making comments to the girls and things like that and sending it to them. But we did it live where we were talking about it, and then we recorded the Zoom and then sent that to the team to watch. So we were able to kind of creatively think of ways to still learn, even if, we weren't able to get on the floor, and really both that, and then coming back in the fall and the different style of practice that we had to do. We really, as coaches, dug into some of the skills deeper than we ever have before, and had to get creative with, okay, how do we still teach? How do we still, practice when we can't go 6-on-6 and things like that? And I honestly think the challenge for us has deepened our understanding of the game and really helped us as coaches. But as far as exposure to each other, Robert and I, we've got that down just fine.
No, okay, look, I told the other coaches I've done this from time to time because I'm a high school video teacher. I don't have the best setup here, but I do see my surroundings. And I'm looking behind you. I see you got some art on the wall. Tell us about that.
All right. Well, this is Donkey Kong that was actually traced by Robert, but colored by Isaiah, my 6-year-old son. So these two are from Isaiah, from my 6-year-old. He's in 1st grade now. And then these two over here are from Micah, are from my 3-year-old. And I won't show you like what's down here. I have like a bin full of like dress up toys and clothes. And then in my filing cabinet, I've got the bottom drawer all full of toys and coloring and things like that. So it's half my office, half theirs, if I'm
yeah. So as we talk volleyball here, Coach, you have the perspective of a lot of players coming back, but a lot of teams in the league have that. But at the same time, yours are still kind of young. Now they have the experience of winning. I mean, you've got a winning program. So a lot of sophomores I know coming back. Let's talk about some of your returners and kind of what you're hoping to see this year.
Yeah, we're really excited. We only have 2 freshmen coming in, so we are bringing pretty much everybody back, and we're really excited about that. But we did lose. I feel like after January to May, I guess, of your freshman year is really where so much growth happens as far as being able to dive into some skills and get reps where you need it. And maybe in season you're playing a freshman and she can't run this play to save her life, or she's really struggling on service receive when it's on to her right, or something like that, and you just can't take the time when you're playing a match in 2 days to really spend that much time with that person on that skill. And that's what your non-championship segment is for, and that's what we lost. And so coming into the fall, that it was an easy sell, especially for that group of my group of sophomores, to be like, guys, that was so important and you didn't get that, and I know we're not playing right now in the fall, and in a lot of ways that stinks. That's awful. But also we're going to get that time back to really get into some individual stuff that we weren't able to in the spring. And you need that. So I actually feel really good about where we are now. I was telling Robert that, your start of your season happening in January. I love volleyball. I love that. Typically you come back in fall, you come back a little early, you just hit the ground running at 100 miles an hour. You're done, by finals and all of that. We're done by that time. And it's just, it's all right there compact. But I will say that having the start of the season in January, when you've already practiced in the fall, you already know who your freshmen are. They've already acclimated. You kind of have an idea of who can do what and where you might play people. I feel much more chill right now than I do, in August, where I don't know some of our players very well at all, and we have to play in 2.5 weeks. So that part I don't mind. But yeah, we got in a lot of work in the fall, and we're feeling strong. We're feeling good. I'm excited to actually play somebody.
So besides the masks and all that, it sounds like you've kind of been able to keep that same structure, the same process. It's just the clock's been move forward a little bit or move backwards, I guess. I don't know how you want to say that, but you're able to do kind of the same things, I guess.
Yeah. At this point, yes. And that was when we, when we started in the fall, we had to have, what they consider distance practice. So essentially what that took away from us was the blocking. But it also allowed us to have that individual time and we couldn't even go at the very beginning, all 16 at the same time. We had to go in groups and small groups. But actually, I think that worked in our favor. I think we were able to really build similar to how we would in that non-championship season. We just did it in the fall.
So a couple new players you mentioned, a couple of freshmen coming in. Let's talk about some of the new players as we try to do every year.
Yeah, so we have one is might look familiar. She's Kelly McKinnon's sister. Her name's Skylar McKinnon. Kelly actually has a twin who goes. She's a swimmer at Oklahoma Christian, and the funny thing is her and her twin really don't look that much alike at all. And her and Skylar look almost exactly alike, just a little different shade of hair color. But so she really joined in nice and easy, picked up everything, was really familiar with the team and everything already because of Kelly. And then Riley Pickett, she is a setter DS from Aledo. Same thing. She played high school with 2 of our girls. Aledo has kind of been, we've had a few girls from Aledo through years. And so, Sarah Moorhead is one of her teammates from Aledo. And so same thing. They were both already new people, were really familiar. So they were really able to just jump right in and get started. And then another person who was a redshirt for us last year I think people will definitely think she's going to step up and show some things this year is Chloe Ingersoll. She redshirted for us last year. She's from Virginia, and we're excited about what we're seeing from her too.
I've told you before, I always enjoy an Alito reference. That's where my grandparents are from, and almost my hometown, basically. So, okay, Coach, so you begin the season against Arkansas Monticello, and on January 26th, we've got the compacted, different schedule this year. But what are you hoping to see out of the team on that first game, that first match?
Oh, my goodness. I mean, so much of it will just be thanking the Lord that we're able to serve a ball over to someone who's wearing different colors than us. Like, honestly, right now, I mean, that is just where my head's at. That's just where my brain is at, is to, make us better and get to where we can play. I genuinely, I don't know, right or wrong, good or bad, people might critique that, but I genuinely haven't thought much about the other teams yet. Just because I have not wanted to put too much stake in it and then it still just get ripped away. So, I'll believe it when I see it. And we are going to, we talked about 2 motivations, even if we get through all of this entire year and we don't get to play, which Lord willing, that's not happening. I don't think it's happening, but it could always, we know now, right? It can get ripped away from you at any second. Our motivation has been 2 things. One is just getting as skilled at your craft and as good at your craft as you possibly can. And then 2, making your teammates around you better. And I still think even as we are entering matches, I think that's going to be our focus, is not necessarily who are we playing and, how are we going to beat them? There's going to be a little bit of that, of course, but it's mainly going to be self-focused on, our strengths, our weaknesses, honing in on our craft and making each other better volleyball players.
And then last thing, Coach, I think I said last question a minute ago, but I got one more for you. You talked about the players learning more about each other, you having to find new ways to coach or to critique game film.
Yeah.
Of course, time at home, and we've got a new appreciation for just doing what we do. What do you say is the thing you've learned the most through all of this?
Oh, mercy. That's a good question. I think, we have a motto here, that we are Christian student athletes in that order. I care about them spiritually, academically, then athletically. And I think that has really been, put to the test. Like, what are you going to do as a coach with your team now that volleyball, the thing that you have, that has been the common factor through all of this, is taken off your plate. Like, you can't do that. I started playing volleyball when I was like 3rd grade, something like that, like in AJAA or, your little city league, and then started playing club in middle school. And this has been the first fall in 25 years for me that I haven't played in or coached a volleyball match. And so it really did. This is just like me personally. I know Robert's actually right over here. So he could maybe answer something differently. But, for me, just challenging what I've always said, who I was and who we were as coaches, that we don't care about the volleyball side as much. We care about them as people more. And I think that was, really challenged. And I hope if you were to ask the girls, I don't know, I hope if you were to ask the girls that they would say that we met that challenge and they still felt cared for as people, because they're still people in this. You're still students in this, even if you don't feel as much of a volleyball player as you used to when you're not playing. So I don't know if that's what I've learned, but that's, I guess, what I feel like I've been challenged by the most.
Sure. Yeah. Well, certainly good to hear that. And Coach, thank you so much for the time. It's good to visit with you again, and best of luck this season.
Yeah. Thank you so much.